You ever wake up and find out you're trespassing on your own land? That's how my Thursday started, standing in my hayfield, jeans still dusty, coffee still hot, while a woman in a pastel blazer pointed at me and told a police officer I was on her subdivision's property. Let me back up a sec. This land's been in my family since my granddad bought it with a mule and a handshake. So you can imagine how surreal it felt, getting accused of squatting on ground I grew up turning over, one row at a time. Behind her, 3 houses were half built, trusses up, wraps still damp from rain, and the whole place stank of fresh concrete. Except a month ago, it was just wild clover and fescue, nothing but bees and birds. I heard my granddad's voice in my head, like I always do when things get sideways. The land keeps the ledger, son. I hoped he was right, because I was about to bet my whole year on it. Now if you're thinking, how did you not know they were building houses on your place? Buddy, it's not that simple. Developers get sneaky with paperwork, you know what I mean? Turns out the guy who bought the lot next door realized his survey was off. So instead of fixing it, the HOA just kind of slid their lines over, maybe 40, maybe 60 feet, right into my hayfield. For their ease of layout, they said, as if my farm was an extra patch of carpet they could just cut off. My name's Nash. I work this little family farm. Not big enough to retire on, but honest. Rotate cover crops, keep bees, sell eggs out of a cooler by the road. My partner Arden swears my favorite book is the county plat, and honestly, it's laminated for a reason. In this county, if you can't point at your lines, someone else will. So when I saw spray paint by the old pecan tree, I introduced myself, friendly enough, to the foreman, Rollo, big guy, not much for conversation. We got permits, he said. Wouldn't show them. Told me to call the number on the sign. I did. The lady on the phone was chipper, told me if I had concerns, to bring them to the community board. That's how I met Clarabelle, queen of clipboards. She smiled like she was explaining a museum to a toddler, told me my fence had always been approximate, and her plat controlled the line. She'd sent notice, turns out, to some address not even on my road. I went home, pulled out my deed, meets and bounds, from an oak stump to a bend in the creek, matched it to the county map, everything lined up. At the county recorder's office, the clerk slid me an amendment to the subdivision plat, signed, not by me, but by the HOA president, attesting to a Scrivener's error correction. So I hired Hector, a surveyor who could find a stone marker under a foot of pine straw. 2 days out there, sunburned, calm, found every call in my deed. Oak, rock pile, even the fence line my granddad set. His report? They're over your line, by a lot. He handed me a map. If they pour slab, it's not an accident. It's theft. So I went back to the site, coffee in hand, hoping to keep it civil. Clarabelle didn't want to see my survey, said their plat was recorded. 3 houses under contract, not her problem. Don't tell us what to do with our property. I laughed. Don't build on mine. She didn't. 2 days later, I pulled up to police lights. Clarabelle, clipboard crew, and an officer, Sergeant Lindell. They'd called 911 to report a trespasser me. I showed deeds, survey GIS. He thumbed the papers, exhaled. This is a civil matter. Clarabelle insisted. I leave. I told the sergeant. If you push me off my land, you're helping them trespass. He had that look cops get when things are about to go sideways. He asked Clarabelle for her paperwork. She waved her plat. He told everyone to wait for the county inspector. The inspector showed up, scowled at the permits, compared the survey, slapped a big red stop work order on the frame. Rollo peeled it right off. Inspector slapped up another, called his boss, took photos. That's a misdemeanor, he said. Rollo just shrugged, like, my bad. By sunset, I was on the phone with Mara, a lawyer whose brain runs faster than most folks' engines. She had a list: record a notice to preserve rights, file a lease pendants, seek a restraining order. Don't let them finish. If you do, they'll beg for mercy and might get it. If they know and keep building, it's trespass. So I posted signs: private property, no trespassing, active litigation, set up cameras, called my neighbor. Catch. Turns out, the HOA had hassled him. 2. Tried to close his 2-track with a chain, called it a walking path. He snipped it with bolt cutters, dropped the chain at their monument sign. Laughed. They don't know rural folks. The next week, The HOA fined me for parking my tractor on their common area. Sent a photo. Taken through my own fence. Looked like I'd landed on the moon. Mara wrote back. We reject any claim of authority. Sent the survey, a cease and desist, demanded removal of their materials. We filed the TTRO. Title company for the buyers started calling. The developer, Tate, clean boots, fancy truck, finally showed. Offered to buy an easement. Let me use the pool. Mara didn't blink. No. Remove the encroachments. Restore the land. Pay damages. Apologize in writing. Tate laughed. Nobody's tearing down houses for a goat farm. Mara smiled. We have bees. While that spun, the stormwater violation started. Grading sent mud into my lower field and catches pond. County road citations. No silt fences. Discharge without cover. The bees started dying. Turns out, painters sprayed herbicide that drifted into my hives. Added to the damages. The HOA called a community forum. I showed up with Hector and Mara. PowerPoint slides claimed my fence was always off. I asked to show Hector's survey. Clarabelle refused. Mara cited trespass. Statutes. Reminded them their plat amendment was meaningless without my consent. Vern in the back asked, does this mean I lose my earnest money? Mara, maybe. Someone else. Well, property values. Drop. Tia, another board member. Because of the farm smell? I grinned. That's Clover. The concrete is new. Some folks laughed. Clarabelle did not. The court granted the restraining order, 14 days. To stop work, remove equipment, post a bond. Buyers panicked. Title company backed out. Subs stopped showing up. Clarabelle called me non-cooperative in a letter to residents. I kept every message. Every scrap. You'd be surprised how loud an insult echoes in a field that wants to be quiet. But the war kept going. The HOA fenced a strip along my 2-track, put up community path signs, planted invasive shrubs, claimed beautification. I saw trespass. Cat showed up with an old map, his daddy's pencil marks still on it. Warned me. They'll bottle you up. First it's a path, then no farm vehicles after dusk, then fees for road maintenance. Sure enough, they stuck a no agricultural traffic sign at the track mouth. I zip-tied my easement language to it and moved there. Signed to my fence, pointed it at a cowbird. Deputies came by, false trespass calls stacking up. Trail cams caught a board member cutting my signs, filed a report. False 911 calls carry fines here. Even probation if you do it enough. Didn't want anyone arrested, just wanted respect. Life on the farm went on, mending fence, fixing the old well, Arden keeping me sane. Then, the real fun, someone brought a skid steer out at midnight, tried to dig a drainage swale, rutted my clover, left tracks like a cat fight. Camera caught it all. Mara filed contempt. Judge ordered fines, threatened a writ. For removal, crane came, lifted trusses back off the houses. It's wild, watching a subdivision unbuild itself. Nails squealing, concrete regret. Here's the twist. Liza, one of the buyers, found me. She'd been told I was the problem, extorting the community. I showed her my survey, my deed, the mess in my hives. She got it, started asking questions at meetings. The community got tired of special assessments to cover legal bills. Vern led a petition, recalled the board. Liza got elected president. With new folks in charge, they owned up. Real apology, planned to fix the mess without touching my land. The county suspended permits, developer blacklisted. Even the prosecutor jumped in. Site manager fined for falsified logs. Former board members fined for 911 abuse. Everyone sent to classes. The court made the injunction permanent, set mediation rules, banned boundary shifts by machinery, required surveys before using plats. By spring, we held a fence line. Planting, wildflowers, clover, native grasses. Kids, neighbors, even some sheepish former adversaries helped. The bees forgave us faster than I did. The new HOA started a scholarship for local AG students, named it after Hector. A year later, Liza mailed me a postcard. I used to think lines were imaginary. Now I know they're promises. I pinned it to my fridge. When folks ask what's fair, I say, boundaries matter, but how you defend them matters more. Now the land's ledger matches the deed, and, at least for now, the neighbors finally agree. So let's hear it. Where do you draw the line? Between community and ownership? Who was right? Who was wrong? And what would you have done different? Drop your take below, and if you want more stories where the quiet folks win, stick around. Hit that like, share with someone who needs a little justice, and I'll see you next time.